Hello, welcome to my studio. You are an artist. Today, I want to just welcome everyone. If you're new, welcome. And if you are someone who's returning, welcome back. So today I'm just going to do some journal play. It's evening and I just want to relax and have some fun. Maybe it'll turn into something, maybe it'll be a disaster. So I've got my large Dilutions journal. I've got some Jane Davenport, and this is the Brights package of watercolor. I've got my Prismacolors. They're just regular colored pencils. And I've got some spray inks. Now, I saw this technique used a long time ago, but again recently by Jane Davenport. And then there's a gentleman who also is on YouTube, and it's Kimball's Corner, and he just does fabulous work. I'm not going to be anywhere near that fabulous. I don't even know if this is going to work out at all, but we're going to give it a try. So let's go. I'm going to start out with, this is just water. I have my water for rinsing my brushes, 2 sources for water, and I'm just going to give this a light mist, just a little bit, so that the spray inks don't just sink right in. And this one is a Dilutions, and it's called Vanilla Custard, and I'm just going to give it just a couple of sprays. The idea is not to completely cover and saturate the book. It's just adding some marks. And this is, rose quartz. And, I'm letting it be some kind of dotty and blotty and some kind of misty. Now, the last color I have here is Periwinkle Blue, and I'm not going to spray this. I'm just going to pull the stopper out and I'm going to give it some drops. And just add those. And it's going to run a little and it's going to splatter a little, but it's all good. I just want some random, unpredictable marks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit this again with just a little bit of water. And maybe the blues will take off just a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can tip and make this run. And I know we're real tight on space here, so I don't know how much you can see. It's not really running a whole lot. I think I'm going to just give it a little more water and see if this will run a little bit here for me. It's running a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take this clip off and I'm just going to close the book on itself and give it a smear and see what that gives us. Probably one of those ink blots that you're supposed to find something in it. Okay, that looks great. That looks great. I'm going to clip this back down. And again, I know, if there's parts of this that just aren't in the frame, I apologize. And now I'm going to just take some paper towels and I'm just going to roll over the top. Whole roll. This is just my art stuff anyway. My art paper towels. Okay, there's just a little bit in the seam that is hiding out and I'm just going to give it a blot. I'm not rubbing though. I don't want smears, but if I get some smears, it's all okay. All right. I like this. I think this is going to be a cool background. Now I'm going to be using watercolor on top. As again, this is a Jane Davenport Brights collection. And I just can't keep the journal and the paints all in the frame. So I apologize for that. As best I can when I can, kind of move things around, I will do that. I'm just debating. I'm going to hit this with my heat gun. Now, normally I would just walk away and let this dry, but for the sake of the video, here we go. Noisy. The heat gun. Now, this tip is hot, so be careful where you set it down. You don't want to burn your carpet or a rug or anything like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, one of my favorite things, and like I said, this is just me relaxing. I'm going to put a face over here, and then have her hair go over here. There's some other artwork on the other side of this, so it's a little bit bouncy, but I don't care. So I'm going to just lay in some landmarks for a face. And I'm going to start with an eye. And this is not a tutorial. This is just me having some time in my art journal. So I just want to relax, and I wanted to relax with you, my friends, and give her a nose, and then give her a mouth, and hopefully I can give her a bit of a smile. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm just going to work on kind of outlining her head a little bit. Not even going to completely fill it in, just a few landmarks for me. And then I'm not even going to lay in her throat. Well, I kind of want to though. So I'll go ahead and lay in her throat. And if I wish she had her head turned in a different direction once I get going, then that's okay. Now these inks are water reactive. Now I've got my watercolors, and I am going to hit this with a little mist to activate them. I can try to set them here, so at least for part of the time you can see what I'm doing. And now I'm going to work in her face. Now, this is a Grumbacher size 4 round. I'm just going to wet it. And I've got some paper towels on the side here to kind of dab it off. And I'm going to start with, I think, the outline of her face. And I'm going to start with this blue. I think I've got some of that blue right here. And you know, it's not that I'm too lazy to clean my paint, but it's just that these leftovers, you can reactivate them and they're still good. So, you know, I just don't want to waste them. Okay, so I'm going to just start basically outlining her face. And as I say, the inks below are going to reactivate as well. But, you know, that's just kind of the fun of this. And this is not watercolor paper. It's kind of a cardstocky paper, but it's fun. We're just having fun. And as I say, this may turn out to be a disaster. I have no idea. But be it a disaster or not, it's just my art journal. I'm going to grab a little purple and put that on this side and just kind of outline her face again. Maybe put some of this purple in her throat area. I love color, and our faces reflect the colors that are around us, our surroundings, the clothing that we have on. So, and I'm just kind of blocking in some color because I'm going to work more on the details when I get to the point of using the Prismacolor, the colored pencils. All right, so I'm going to start with this. I think this blue color. I think it's, I think it's called 70s eyeshadow, but I'm not sure. But I'm just going to kind of work in an iris on both eyes. And again, I'm just blocking in some color. And it's going to pick up the inks below, and that's fine. Don't mind that a bit. And then I'm going to go back to this blue. I want it a little more watered down. And I'm going to just get a little shade on the side of her nose, her nostrils here, like that. And then maybe the little Cupid's bow, and then a little under her lips. And let's see. I got kind of a neutral color here that it's kind of like a tannish, brownish color. And I'm gonna put in an eyelid like this. And do the same on this eye. Obviously, we're not going for any kind of photorealism. I don't even have a photo. I'm just going for it. And I'm going to put a little bit of this color on the side of her jaw. Wet it down and move it around a little bit. And then maybe kind of a pinkish tone here. And blot it a little bit. It's a bright pink. Give her some lipstick. And I'm not necessarily completely filling this in, and that's fine with me. Totally fine with me. Just getting a little color in there. I think I'm going to add a little of this pink to the tip of her nose and maybe a little bit of kind of cheek color. Little cheek color over here, a little more water. Blend that out. Some of the inks underneath are going to run right away. Sometimes they'll just run later, and when you come back to take a look at it, you'll be, oh, it may not be exactly how you remember. It's all fine. It's just fine. Okay, I'm going to take this kind of a brownish color that I had made before and fill a little bit of this in her throat. I kind of have a V shape in that throat, kind of the structure of our neck, just a suggestion. Okay, I think I'm kind of running out of that, and I think I made it with pink and some yellow, and then just a little bit of kind of a greenish color, just a dot. And, you know, this is not going to be the same color that I just was working with. It doesn't matter. It does not matter a bit. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm just blotting a little extra water and put in the bottom eyelid, tear duct, a little more pigment, and there. So tell me, how is your day going? Or maybe your week? Did you get some crafting in? I hope. Are you crafting with me? That would be great. I love to craft with friends, just kind of have a painty party or a mixed media party and, you know, visit and find out how everyone's week is going. I'm just mixing up some of these colors that are right here on my palette. Maybe make a little bit of a shade color here. Our noses really are more defined by shadow than they are by a direct line. Just adding some of this. Okay, how about an eyebrow? Haven't even picked a hair color yet, but let's see. Eyebrow color. Well, we could go with this blue again and just lay some in basic eyebrows. Want it too wet. And just kind of put a little shape in for an eyebrow. Nothing exact. Just give me a clue of where they may be. They may end up under the hair. I have no idea. Just putting some colors in her face. Okay. Now, how about some hair? I'm going to move my paints now, so I'm sorry you're not going to be able to necessarily see them. But like I said, it's not a tutorial, and I'm going to rinse out this number 4 brush, and I'm grabbing a big brush. And this is a number 16 round. So into the drink. And I'm going to start out, I think, with yellow. So I'm just grabbing the yellow right out of the pan. And I'm going to give her a swoop. Like that. Wild and free. And bring some over her forehead. And bring some from down here. Wild. Bring some from here. Bring this around. I try to start at the scalp and then, move out. And this hair is coming from here. And again. And again. Just wild and free. You can go right off the page. That's fine. How you doing, doll? You like your hair? You like standing in the wind and just feeling the wind in your hair? Yeah, why not? Okay. I'm going to add another color to her hair. I'm going to add, kind of a pinky reddy color. Just a little. Not a lot. Just a few strands. Maybe there's some pretty neon lights around her. Never know. She could be in Las Vegas. She could be in Paris. Under the pretty lights. And her hair is reflecting the beautiful lights. Okay. I'm liking where this is going. Going to add a few more strands. What are you thinking? Crazy? Could be. Okay. It's good. I'm liking this. I'm happy. I'm going to take another pink tone. I'm just going to keep using this big old brush. And I'm just going to give a little tear duct pink here and here. And I'm going to just run it a little bit under her waterline of her eye. And you might not even be able to see this. And that's okay. I'm going to take that same pink and add just a little bit more lip color here. Like that. And a little more of this pink in here, where her hair might be reflecting. A little more of that kind of a rosy cheek look. Good. I'm going to grab that pinky hair color that I was using, and I'm just going to give it a couple of sweeps like this. And I can add some more when I get to the colored pencil as well. Okay. So far, so good. And this may not end up being my favorite painting in the whole book. It doesn't matter. I'm just having fun. I just cleaned off my brush. And I think I'm going to take just a little bit of a smaller brush, and I'm going to add a little bit more colors in her eye. So I'm picking up a kind of a yellow-green color, and I'm just going to add on both sides the same. Again, the lights that are perhaps reflecting in her eyes. Eyes reflect a lot of what's around us. I'm not going to put red in her eyes because it just can give the wrong impression. but I'm going to add a little bit of blue, of a darker blue, and maybe just right here on this edge, like that. Maybe over here, like that. And then I think I'm going to take that blue and go right at her eyelid, like that. Right up at the top of her eyelid, like that. And bring that around a little bit. Okay, I'm liking that just fine. Rinsing out my brush, and here we go again. I'm going to give it a good dry. And again, I hope that I can just edit this part out. And taking it away. And now I'm going to close up the watercolors and pull out my Prismacolors. You know, I've got some extra clips. I'm going to clip these guys down here to help us. And I hope that I am mostly in frame. There, okay. How's that? I hope it's good. We don't need the spray inks anymore, so I'm going to get those out of the way. And grab my Prismacolors, and this is just a 72. I didn't grab my pencil sharpener, and I really should have, but we'll just see how it goes. If I have to grab it, I'll grab it, but I hope not. So I'm just going to lay out a couple of these trays, and I'll show you. I realize you can't see them all, but I'll show you as I grab them. And I can put a tray over here for now, and then I'll just have a tray over here, and I'll just keep trying to show you as I grab. Okay, so where are we going to start on her face? Well, I'm going to start with her eyes, and I already have kind of a brownish color for her lids, so I think I'm going to pick, and this is kind of a tannish brown. This is called Ochre Brulee. So I'm just gonna be tightening up the work now and adding just a little more definition. I also have some cotton buds in case I want to kind of smear these watercolor or these colored pencil. And I'm going to go ahead and go around the outer edge of her eye and then give her a bottom lid. We've got that little bit of pink for her teardrop or tear duct. And there. And maybe I'm just going to flare this right out for some eyeliner. Let's bring it right out, and she's got some brown eyeliner. Now I'm going to go lighter and just shade in her lid a little bit. I'm just going light. There. Now, her nose. I'm going to go ahead with the same color and kind of define her nose a bit. And the nostrils. And then a little shading on each side. Good. Little shading here on her jawline. And her throat. And just kind of draw this in. And I'm just working sketchy. I'm not trying to get that homogenized look that you can get with colored pencils. It's beautiful, but that's just not what I'm striving for today. All right, for that pinky lippy color, I'm looking through my pencils, and let's see. This one is called Magenta. And I'm just going to put the lines of her lips in. Little smile. I do have a tutorial out on making faces, kind of a two-parter. So you can look for that if you want to just see a more specific process. Now I'm going to be going with the shape of her lips as I continue to draw. Your lips kind of have lines in them, almost like fingerprints. And so I'm just trying to create that suggestion. Good. Okay, I'm going to grab a lighter pink. This one is called Rose something. Rose, and it's F-A-R-D-E with a little mark over the E. And I'm just going to layer this in on top. And I'm going still in those kind of the direction of your lips. And again, this is not a tutorial, but I'm just trying to tell you a little bit about kind of my thought process in all of this. I'm going to add a little of this lighter pink to the tip of her nose and then to her nostrils. I don't want it to look as if she's got a cold, but she might. It's the season for it, that's for sure. I'm bringing this right up into the eyelid area. I'm filling that in a little bit more. Okay. How about a little jaw coloring here with this pink and her chin over the shaded area here, over the brown. Just adding a little of this pink color. And how do I know where to go? I don't. I'm just playing. Maybe add a little shoulder. Like that. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to grab another pink. And this one's called Rose. And again, I'm just going to go over these lips using the directions that your lips kind of go. And I'm going to go right in the areas that I kind of skipped where I think there's a little bit of shine. I'm going to add a little of this pink right into her eye. Like that. And then a little bit in this corner. Yeah. Okay. I like that just fine. And maybe just a little here. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to add a little pink over her, between her lip and her nose. There. Okay. I am going to find kind of, I don't know, maybe a beigeish or a grayish. I'm looking. Let's see. That gray is almost white, so I don't want that. This is kind of a buff color. This one's called Peach Beige Peach. It's going to add a little of this. It's kind of a beigey color. Add this to her face a little bit. I'm sorry if I'm wiggling and jiggling. It's a robust table, but sometimes when I'm trying to lean into the table so it doesn't wiggle so much. And you can still see the inks. You know, I'm not obliterating the inks by any stretch of the imagination, not at all. Just trying to kind of add some detail. I am not a colored pencil expert. Oh, hardly. But, you know, this is how I learn. It's just by practicing and kind of seeing what the pencils do when and how. Okay, I'm going to bring some of this in her nose area and around the tip of her nose. I'm going to go over the shadowing, even though I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going right over that shadowing. And under her brow bone. What do you think? Am I getting anywhere with this? Yeah, I'm happy. Little chin. Okay. Now, how about that hair? I'm going to add some brown. I'm not sure. I think that's the brown we already used. Nothing wrong with that, but just wouldn't mind getting some more color. Love color. This is sepia. I'm going to take this over and I'm going to start drawing in some hair. And like I said, just kind of going from the scalp and bringing it out. Sweeping the hair. Of course, I'm kind of stumbling when I hit the seam of my journal, but that's okay. Adding some strands. Now this is going to be darker. So I'm just going to add a little more darkness because it's right up next to her face. So her hair's going to be just a little bit darker. Same over here. Just going to be darkening this a little bit and then going back to my little lines. Okay. How about another color for her hair? And I think it still, reads kind of light blondish, something like that. I'm going to, I didn't bring any across her forehead, so I think I'm going to do that. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to grab a blue. And this color is called, blue, and then it's Geometria, something like that. Ultramarine. So, ultramarine. Do your thing. I love ultramarine. Ultramarine it's a good blue for using on its own. It's a good mixing blue. In watercolor, I love using ultramarine. How we doing? Whoosh. Few extra strands coming out over here. Right off the page. Yeah. I'm going to darken this in just a little bit. Again, where I think her hair would be, a little bit darker. Same over here. This part of her, close to her head. Her hair is going to be just a little bit darker. And then bring the strands out from there. There we go. Same blue. I'm going to go ahead and outline her iris. Like that. And then I'm just going to go, and now I should lay in a pupil. Let's do that. So I'm going to get some black. Yep. No, this is indigo blue. I'm going to save that. Might want it later. And this is black. So just going to give her a pupil. And a pupil. Looks pretty even. Kind of gives her life, doesn't it? Okay. I'm going to take this indigo blue and I'm going to just add some individual hairs into her eyebrows. little short strokes. And then I'm going to add just a little indication of, well, maybe a different eyeliner just right here. And then I'm going to add just an indication of some eyelashes. I am not good at drawing eyelashes all the way across the eye. They just look awful. There's no other way to describe it. So I just add a little indication of some eyelashes and, you know, little dots kind of a little bit closer to the middle of her eye. And there. I'm going to take this same little indigo and I'm just going to go on her upper lip and very lightly just add some of those, the lines of your lips. And again, if you're wearing lip gloss and shiny lipstick, you're going to be reflecting the colors around you. So don't mind that a bit. I'm going to go under her chin a little bit with this indigo. And I'm going to give that a little smudge. Maybe this kind of the shape of her throat a little bit. Give that a bit of a smudge. Lots of color. Lots and lots of color. Okay. I think I'm going to add just a little more definition to not all of her face. I don't want to draw it around like a coloring book, but you know, just to add a little defining lines. You know, I'm really liking her. I hope that you do. Give her a few more of these. This is with the indigo still. Are you happy, little one? I hope so. Gonna, again, just add a little more definition to her nose. I'm liking her. I hope you do. Okay, I'm gonna get this little color here. This is terracotta. It's kind of a reddish brown. And I'm just gonna define that eyelid a little more. And then maybe I'll give her just a little cosmetics. What I would love, if I could find it, I think I did, is kind of a green. We really haven't added any green to her, just a tiny touch in her eye. So I'm just going to add a little suggestion of some eyeshadow. Like this. Not a lot, just a little. Yeah, like that. Maybe kind of a little bit under her eye, like that. Yep, I'm liking that, just fine. Maybe a little bit right in here on each side. And I'm going to drag some through her hair. There we go. Not a lot, just a few. I told you I love color. Can't have too much color for me. And it just feels like the older I get, the more color I want. Okay. I'm liking her. I'm going to add just a little bit of this green down here to her neck, throat. Yep. A little bit of green down here. How about that? There's a surprise. And down in here, where we've got it kind of darker. Yeah. Okay. Now, her eyes. I want just a little more definition. I'm going to see if I can grab that indigo again. Did I grab it? Yep. And I'm just going to go from the pupil out with these lines of your iris. gentle. I'm going very gentle, very light, but just to add that little iris suggestion that we all have with those lines that go from the pupil out to the edge, like that. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna risk a little bit more eyelash. Oh, no more. Oof. Then I add more, right? Oh, yep. Okay. I'm liking it real well. Okay, final little touch. I'm going to add some white, and I have a jelly roll. Oh, no, I'm not. I see something that I need to do. All right, this is a gray, cool gray. Our eyes are round, so I'm just going to add the shadow with this gray of the roundness of her eye. And I'm going right over the iris, right over everything, because our upper lid creates a shadow. And so I'm just putting that in right over and just a little bit right in the corner of her eye. And add a little on this corner too. Just kind of makes the eyeball a little bit more round. All right, now white jelly roll. And I want to add first a sparkle in her eye. Now, whatever shines, I put in the one eye, I want to duplicate in the other. So I'm going to make a dot and another dot, and I'm going to give it a smear like that. Do it again. Dot, dot, give it a smear. Do it again. Dot, dot, give it a smear. Okay, I'm liking that. So dot, dot, give it a smear. Dot, dot, give it a smear. One more time. Dot, dot, give it a smear. I'm going to add a little highlight in her pupil. And then maybe a dot right here on each eye. Kind of adds a little life, doesn't it? And then I'm just going to add like some little sparkles over each eye. Like maybe she's got a little mica eyeshadow going on, and so we're just catching a little sparkle here and there. I'm going to add some to her lips, like she's wearing a little bit of lip gloss. And I'm going to do the same kind of a thing, just a few dots, and give it a smear, and a few dots, give it a smear, and then add some of these dots. On the upper lip, give it a smear, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to add, oh, I just knocked a clip off. Well, we'll be all right. Up here, just like I did in the eyes, to like, you know, our lip glosses and things, they can have some mica, and they just kind of sparkle here and there. So I'm just adding some of that. Good. I'm going to add just a little white like that. And I'm, you know, smudging it out a little bit on that bottom lip. Your upper lip is always a little darker than your bottom lip. And so I think what I'm going to do, go back to the pencils, and I'm grabbing a pencil that's called the magenta, and I'm just going to darken this upper lip just a little. There. Well, what do you think? I like it. This has been so fun. I'm just enjoying this. I think it came out nice. I think it's nice enough that I'm going to sign it. Always, always sign your work. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for just having a little art journal fun with me. If you liked it, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and you can subscribe and see more content. Hit the bell, and then you'll be able to get an announcement every time I post a new video. Hope to see you again. See you in the next video. Bye.